is no God, but he's a wise man to rise up every day and thank the Lord. They are using the words of Jah to practice iniquity. They think they smart, they feel Jah never see them indulgence in craftery. They working hard in the dark, hand in hand with the devil. But the evil things you do will come right back to haunt you, yeah, yeah. You know that's true. Learn to live a life that's clean, from without and within. Only a fool says in his heart that there is no God, but he's a wise man to rise up every day and thank the Lord. A fool says in his heart that there is no God, but he's a wise man to rise up every day and thank the Lord. A fool says in his heart that there is no God, but he's a wise man to rise up every day and thank the Lord. A fool says in his heart. You better come down. 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 See them there. Them in a crucial situation. How did they get there? To find themselves in isolation. They walking in the street, they wouldn't talk to people they meet, yeah. I said they walking in the street, they wouldn't talk to people they meet. For them a screw face, full of fear and desperation. They use corruption to fill their dreams and aspiration. Now they're so high looking down, they cannot find their way around town. They're so high looking down, they cannot find their way around town. They better come down. 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 It's amazing how people change so very easy. A little money and they become so uncomely. They're treating you with scorn, they forget that you are a friend, yeah. They're treating you with scorn, they forget that you are a friend. Now they're fretting when you visit at their home. Them I think say you come to beg them for a loan. They living to receive, they wouldn't give a poor dog a bone, yeah. They living to receive, they wouldn't give a poor dog a bone. They better come down. 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 Some politicians will take the people for a ride to get to power. They will play there on your side. Every day they in your throat just begging you for a vote, yeah. Every day they in your throat just begging you for a vote. They get to power and now you wonder where them gone. You cannot find them. Just to raise a simple concern. Politicians in the sky while the people suffer and die. Politicians in the sky while the people suffer and die. They better better come down. You 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 better come down.
This is not politics. Please don't forget. I'm just practicing to be a poet. Not qualified as yet, but have no fear. I'm gonna get there. I'm not in this world to live up to your expectation. Neither are you in to live up to mine. I don't owe no one, no obligation. No one owes me none, so everything is fine, fine. I said I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. I am that I am, I am, I am, I am. You have, but you don't know what you go get. So cherish what you have to diminish regret. But what on earth lasts forever? Not even things created by the great Jehovah. So the green grass ceased to grow to allow the yellow vibes to flow. But boy.
And good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name's Sheldon Scott. I'll be with you up until the 10 o'clock hour. It's now 5 minutes after the hour of 8 on the Spice Isle.
That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain.
Saying a special good night to all of you listening to us locally, regionally, internationally.
Past administration, the cause of frustration.
The submarines under the sea and the spacecraft out at space, we say a special good night to everybody.
Economic recession, we can't give you attention. Economic recession, the cause of poverty in the land. Economic recession, no employment for the ordinary man. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain.
Let me say a special good night to all of you joining us via the live. Hey, We Noise Radio out there in Brooklyn, 94.9. Good night to you, Wade. Good night to the entire We Noise Radio family. I don't know, Wade didn't come back and do market time, and I find that man just sticking on that program. Yeah, he ain't doing it at all. Yeah, so let's see who is on the live. Good night to you, Nakisha Jones, cousin Christine Adams. Good night to you, Ruth Thomas, Ingrid Bourne, Teresa Gill, Nesta St. Clair, Claude Abraham, Bernadette Joseph, John Mark, Norman Noel, Marian James, Sonny Isle, Davis Charles, Errol Bonaparte, Natalia Tati, John, and Net Sincere, Mavis Thorne, Winnie Simon, Cynthia Bay, good night to you, Dennis Fabio, Maria Ramsey, good night to you, Tegwa. What Davis will say every night is bus problem? Yeah, no, that means you had to be on the West Coast, believe me. Peter Striker Lewis, good night to you. Yolan Mitchell Moraine, Amika Vento, Joycelyn Francois, Jill Williams, Walana Quat, good night to you. Cindy Charles, good night. Velma Pascal, good night to you. Olive McEwen, Anna Lois, Tora St. John, Lynn Joseph, Jocelyn Matheson, Donna Langdon, good night to you. Carol Celestine, my dear, a special good night to you. Maudlin Bartholomew, Joan Henry, McLean Mitchell, Norma Roberts, yes, good night to you. Kid Smart, good night. Let me see who else is there. Jocelyn Matheson, Kevin Mitchell, nice, right? I think I get everybody. William Jakim, Raphael Joseph, June Julian, Cindy Nicholas Jones, Angela Russell, Laslyn Douglas. Yeah, good night to all of you under the Facebook. Remember to like and share the live. And those of you, let me see, under the YouTube, Christine Otley, Wilma Paris, Tyrell Strawn, Esther Frederick, Elsie Peters, Fitzroy Phillip, Jerome Lewis, Cynthia Paris. Yes, Cynthia Paris, good night to you. And them, all them Paris and them does be here like in France. Right. Public notice. Roy Lewis, Maria Noel, Deborah Laborde, Dennis Bain, Maria Noel, Marlon Panchu, Voss Charles, Raphael Jr. Williams, Deborah Laborde, good night to you. Islan Musk, good night to you. Goswell Macmillan, Eliza Bernard, Beavis John, Chief Camahon, Oswald Belfon, Sandra Pascal, good night to you, and good night, of course, to Exalia. Zoe, where you are? Zoe, and Zela? What going on with you, Zela? Zela ain't you know. Right, nice. Derek Isaac, Wilma Devonish, Stephanie John, Gemma Warwood, Kim Creedland, Dennis Sandy, Hillary Joseph, Listra Abraham, Michelle Alexander, Maud Martin, Matthew Bowen, Michelle Alexander, Gavin Thomas, Jacinta Livingston, Henry Chaitan, Vanessa Lalji, Errol Bonaparte, Faithlin Holly Douglas, Omina Batiste, Janice Mitchell, Baby Daddy, Jenny Samuel, Ann Andrews, Edmund Caliste, Clive Raymond, Jenna Benjamin, Kathleen Ledlow, Sherma Jeremiah. Sherma, you and Zela was at the top there tonight. But I take it from, the other direction tonight. Right, indeed, folks. Yeah, we had to get started. We can't stick too long tonight. We had to get it things started early because we've got a lot to go over tonight, yeah? That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you're not. Good night to you, Ibrahim.
Refrain. You remember in the Bible, God had a plan for Jonah to restore Nineveh. But will he restore Grenada? Is it the same Jonah? Lots of doubt, so I'm running up my mouth. And I'm counting no chicken.
Good night to you, Joyce Phillips. Mommy George, good night to you.
After they get the vote, they now sing one note. But here comes Fort Judy and Nancy Payne with $1 million house and brand new.
Folks, remember the activity in St. Andrew Northeast. It's taking place this Friday. They're starting early from breakfast, go right through. You're getting lunch, everything. That's right next to Stallion by Dunfermline Bridge there. Remember, that is taking place the St. Andrew Northeast Constituency Branch.
Next election, not me stain that finger. Because after we say enough from Jonah, here comes still with more pressure and hunger. And from the mouth of Grenada, only one thing I utter, the Congress neglect.
Also, remember, St. Patrick West has their activity coming up towards the end of the month, I believe. Yeah, they have that Lovers Night Out.
And for real, we appreciate the free burial, but they only come in December. So what we are doing from January to November, suck salt and drink now as water. When you trick us with campaign.
My good friend Kathy, send back the one for New York for me. With the volume of messages I get on a daily basis, stuff gets knocked right down to the end.
You now refrain. By the way, what will be your...
Kathy Pope, good night to you. Kathy Albert, good night to you. The right Kathy know which one I'm talking to, so they go send the information to me.
In Japanese or Chinese, you better wrap up 1,000.
So as I said, let me start one time, because as I said, we've got a lot to go over tonight. The first one I want to address is a situation. Now, let me lay the groundwork for it. We are headed to our 50th anniversary of independence. In fact, it is due to be launched at the end of this month, right? So they're going to be launching, right? They're going to be launching. Nimrod Oliver, good night to you. They are going to be launching, and Amisha, good night to you. They're going to be launching the independence celebrations at the end of this month. Now, one of the key components of our independence celebrations, as we all should know, are performances by the Royal Grenada Police Force Band. Yeah? As we call them, the #1 jam band in the land and probably the region. Yeah, because I ain't feel it any other country have a band better than the Royal Grenada Police Force Band. Right? They have the wonderful display that they do on Independence Day itself at the stadium for the March Past and all of that. Yeah, they are front and center. They are the center of attention. Yeah, I don't know who might be breakdancing or if they go limbo or big drum or whatever this year with the baton as they're passing by and so. But there's always a wonderful display by the Royal Grenada Police Force Band. In fact, December is coming up. If I remember correctly, they usually have a show coming up for Christmas and so. So the Royal Grenada Police Force Band is a very important component of our independence celebrations, but all our celebrations, whether it's Carnival, whether it's independence, whether it's some other activity, whether it's to go and play out to one of the homes for the aged. They do that. Yeah? They might go into Grenville and they just have a concert, an open air concert for the people of Grenville. So the Royal Grenada Police Force band is very important. Yet still, we now have a situation with the Royal Grenada Police Force band where they don't even have equipment. You're telling me that the Royal Grenada Police Force band, that they have to be borrowing instruments from schools in order to go and perform? Tell me that I'm lying. Tell me that what I'm saying is not true. But the situation that we found ourselves in now is that our police force band, even the numbers, they aren't even recruiting people into the numbers of the Royal Grenada Police Force band. So you have a situation where you have people who are leaving. They're asking for more people to come into the band and so on. What they're going to do is that even though you have high quality people within the band as it is right now, you might end up losing quality because more people going and more people going. And then you have a situation with these instruments. You have to be, come on. The Royal Grenada Police Force band has to borrow equipment from a school band. Come on, you have $5.5 or so million to spend by the 31st of December in relation to independence celebrations. Please take a couple $100,000 out of that and purchase some equipment for the Royal Grenada Police Force band, so that when they play in the trombone is the one that does play with the other thing, that don't falling out. And yes, I know all of that, right? So that don't falling out and all these different things not happening, right? Stop fretting the police officers. You even have a situation, you have some young officers who are there. They're not even fully officers, they're rural constables. The opportunity came. You have people that start training this week. In fact, yesterday you had the ceremony where you didn't even think it's important to take 2 of the RCs that you have there and send them so that they can get all the benefits and so of a full police officer. Yeah? You didn't think it's important to get a placement for them in the police training school because I think it's a 5-week course. You didn't think it's important to get them involved at that level. Take people from other places, yeah, okay, you take people from, but what about the police force band? Are you building a foundation for failure? Because that's what you're doing. If the members of the Royal Grenada Police Force have to be going and borrow instruments from the school orchestra and them kind of thing, that is nonsense. That is stupidness. It should be the other way around, if anything, that if the school orchestra needs something extra, they should have what they have to have too. But if they need something extra, then they can go to the police force band. So I'm calling on the powers that be to please ensure that you pay attention to the lovely men and women who contribute all they can within the ranks of the Royal Grenada Police Force and especially within the ranks of the Royal Grenada Police Force band. Yeah? It is one unit that's near and dear to me. Right? And I know it's near and dear to all Grenadians. Because you're having gala, who's going to have to play? The Royal Grenada Police Force band. Independence Day parade, who's going to have to play? The Royal Grenada Police Force band. Activities within the parishes and so on. Who's going to have to play? The Royal Grenada Police Force band. You ain't going and bring DJ and play in them thing. You're going and bring the Royal Grenada Police Force band. Treat them properly. Please. All right? Yeah, treat them properly. Don't do them kind of thing. Them thing they ain't nice. No. Yeah. Officers of the Royal Grenada Police Force band, I'm going to play a little tune for all of you.
Listen. I'm a policeman, I'm dedicated. And I'm solving just as I'm expected. But certain things that I see going on, we should close down our station from the nation. Why? Cause all you fretting me.
And also remember, folks, the New National Party social meet and greet that's taking place Sunday the 29th of October in Guelph at the Cuthbert Peters Hardcourt. Lots of eats and drinks available. Live entertainment. Come out, meet, greet, mingle. You understand? Yeah. So that's going to be taking place in Guelph and the Cuthbert Peters Hardcourt on Sunday, the 29th of October.
Don't fret me, don't fret me. I said, don't fret me. All your fretting me.
Yeah, stop fretting the officers, man. Come on, do better than that.
Right up the reader. Every police walking around the clock to get all the.
I just thought it important that I raise that issue because you would have, at the last minute, you would have heard them coming and say they're rushing to do this and they're rushing to do that, or you'd have the officers having to go around to the schools now to try and borrow a trumpet here and a trombone there and maybe even a cymbals or a snare drum there and that kind of thing. No.
Give up at some of all you just attacking with all your fretting me. We seeking for betterment in this place, but all you stabbing us in with chest. All you fretting me. Don't fret me, 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 don't fret me. I said don't fret me, don't fret me. All you fretting me. Hey, right up the reader. Say what? Any tiffin man not go in your home. They not leaving no table there unturned. If you come and meet them, then I got it. And your hand of them, your life they will take away. Say what?
Good night to you, Jocelyn Matheson. And good night to your children, yeah?
We walk good about you and give a fuck. What them bandit do all you look for that. All you fretting me.
Yeah, that's my special song for the men and women of the Royal Grenada Police Force. Them they self tell me play it, eh? Yeah, so I had to play it for them.
All you fretting me. Say, don't fret me, don't fret me, don't fret me, don't fret me, don't fret me. Say, don't fret me.
So I'll just set up them officers and them proper. Now, folks, this morning, I took the opportunity to listen to the Minister of Housing. Yeah? Mr. Philip Telesford, good night. We know that you're listening as usual. You can't help it. You have to listen. So we know that he's listening. And I was kind of amazed. How did that caller put it earlier this week? I was baffled by some of the statements that was being made by the minister. Kind of confused. Yeah, I'm kind of confused by some of the stuff I was hearing from the minister. Yeah, I was kind of confused. And let me tell you why. And let me see if I can get the first one here. And let me just see if I can get the first one.
Don't fret me, 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 don't fret me. I said don't fret me, man. All you fretting me. Yeah. Right up the reader. If we raise a hand, all you run us down. On paper and.
Yeah, so I'm really interested in trying to get some clarity in relation to some stuff that was said by the minister this morning. Now, we have been asking on this program, and it was a question that was posed before the chairman of the Housing Authority said he doesn't know who are the people that make up the selection committee. Now, I want you to listen to what Mr. Telesford had to say in relation to the makeup of that committee this morning. So let's hear what he had to say in relation to the makeup of the selection committee, the people who selected, who chose who are going to get houses and who should not get houses. So let's hear what he had to say.
So first and foremost, there was a committee of cabinet set up, and there is a structure. And as a new government, we followed the structure. So we had one person who's a chairperson appointed by cabinet who is not a government official, right? That person was appointed by cabinet to chair the selection committee. And then we had the 2 PSs in the ministry, so that's 3 people so far. And then we had the general manager of housing authority and the planning officer. That's 5 people on that committee. And to assist at the various locations where those units are being distributed, we had 2 representatives from that particular area or parish to assist, so that, because they supposedly would have first-hand knowledge or at least an idea as to who these people are. So, for example, if Tom Jones is applying or has applied and Tom Jones lives in New York, automatically that person would be able to say, no, this person's not residing in Grenada, or this person has a 2-story building and they're just taking this unit for investment purposes. So they help to shine light on the situation so that the committee can make a better decision.
Now, I have several questions in relation to that. He has stated the people who have made up, but he hasn't named them. Yeah, we're interested in hearing the names. That's one part of it. A person selected to chair the committee who is not working with government. Who is that person? We need a name, because what we would like to confirm is that no family member or close relative of that person has been selected for one of these units. That's what we want to make sure. That's why we want names. But you see, they're giving the titles of the individuals, but not their names. Yeah? So they would come and they would say the PSs from the ministry. The PSs from the ministry I can understand. Yeah? Because it's the housing ministry. I can understand that if you have 2 PSs there, okay, the PSs have a say in relation to the entire thing. Right? But remember, the PSs answer to a minister. So nothing stops a minister from whispering a name in a PS's ear, and the PS feels inclined that they may have to make sure that that person gets through. Because remember, they're working with a particular minister. Yeah, next thing they find themselves in the ministry of Petit Martinique. Yeah, right. So while they are, I could understand, you have the 2 PSs, right. Then you have the general manager of the housing authority, and we know that that individual has since resigned. We do not know if it is because the recommendations that that person made were not kept, and therefore they were upset with the process and did not want their name attached to it, and they resigned. We don't know. But I found it very suspicious that as the announcement was being made in relation to the distribution of these houses, that the then general manager resigned. Right now they're looking for a general manager for the Housing Authority of Grenada. So I found it very suspicious, and in fact, I would love to speak to the former manager and find out from them the circumstances and reasoning surrounding their resignation as manager of the Housing Authority of Grenada. I have my suspicions. I suspect that they were not pleased with the process in relation to the selection of individuals for the houses. I suspect that they did not agree with some of the moves that was being made by the present administration in relation to the distribution and the process for distribution of those houses. That's my suspicion. I can't say for sure, but I could tell you what I suspect, and that is what I suspect may be the case. All right? But I'd like to speak to the manager one day. Yeah, reach out to me now. I don't have a number to reach you. Yeah, so that we can hear exactly what took place. Also, we're hearing there that the planning officer, and I'm trying to figure out who the planning officer is, and if the planning officer wasn't the same person that was sitting along with Mr. Hugh Thomas, the chairman, when he said he don't know the people on the selection committee. I'm trying to figure out if that planning officer was not one of the individuals sitting at the head table with Mr. Hugh Thomas at the point in time that he was saying he doesn't have an idea. All he knows that the manager used to be there. He doesn't even know. Imagine. He is the chairman of the Housing Authority of Grenada, answering directly to the Ministry of Housing, having to interact with the PSs within that ministry on a weekly basis. And he does not know that those 2 PSs were part of the selection committee. Come on, Mr. Thomas. Really and truly. Yeah? So, we also heard, and this one, happens to be the most dangerous part, because I'm not sure when it comes to the planning officer, if it is who I think it is, who was sitting to the left, possibly, maybe it could be to the right, I don't know, of Mr. Hugh Thomas, when he was saying he don't know who is on the selection committee. Now, the dangerous one for me is that he stated that there were 2 individuals from each of the communities / parishes that were selected to that committee who would know who people are. Now, you know it's not 2 NNP to go in and select they. You and I know that. Who are these 2 people from Bourgeois, St. George Northwest, who made the selections along with the chairman who all they want to name? Yeah, we could guess, we could get the names of the others. Yeah, the planning officer, the general manager, and the 2 PSs, we could get those names. But we need to know the name of the chairperson who chaired that committee and the names of these 2 people, for instance, for St. George Northwest, Bourgeois. Who were the 2 people that were on the selection committee? What criteria did they use? We hear you saying, oh, if the person outside of Grenada and that, did they stick to that criteria? Did they base it on politics? That is one of we, that is not one of we. We don't know because we don't know the names. And it is only fair to the people who have applied for those houses. It is only fair to them that they know the names of those 2 individuals. It is fair to the people of St. David that the 2 people, who are the 2 people within the parish of St. David that made selections for St. David? Who are the 2 people who decided that, hey, this person should get and that person shouldn't get? Who are these people? Who are the people up in St. Patrick that made that selection? Who are the people in Carriacou? The 2 people from Carriacou that made that selection of who should get and who shouldn't get for the people of Carriacou. Who look at somebody who in Carriacou had already been approved for the house and said, nah, don't give she because she's not one of us. Who are these people? Those are the names that we want to hear. We go hear it, you know. One way or the other, we will get it. So it's better only tell us and save the embarrassment, but tell us, who are these people that made up these committees that made the selections? Because we want to know if the 2 people that made the selection in Carriacou, if relatives, family members, close or distant, family members of those individuals replaced people who had gotten their letters from government before. In other words, other people had gotten apartments in Dumfries. They got letters saying you're no longer getting an apartment, but one of the relatives of the 2 people for Carriacou that are selecting up there, because that is what the minister said, they selected 2 people from the area to make that selection of who should get, who shouldn't get. And in fact, I know you all don't want to see him again, but listen to him.
So first and foremost, there was a committee of cabinet set up, and there is a structure. And as a new government, we followed the structure. So we had one person who's a chairperson appointed by cabinet who is not a government official, right? That person was appointed by cabinet to chair the selection committee. And then we had the 2 PSs in the ministry, so that's 3 people so far. And then we had the general manager of housing authority and the planning officer. That's 5 people on that committee. And to assist at the various locations where those...
And this is the important part.
Units are being distributed. We had 2 representatives from that particular area or parish to assist, so that, because they supposedly would have first-hand knowledge or at least an idea as to who these people are. So, for example, if Tom Jones is applying or has applied and Tom Jones lives in New York, automatically that person would be able to say, no, this person's not residing in Grenada, or this person has a 2-story building and they're just taking this unit for investment purposes. So they help to shine light on the situation so that the committee can make a better decision. So first and foremost.
So what we are asking here is, who are these people? Who were the two people for St. Mark? Who were the two people for St. Patrick? Who were the two people for Carriacou and Petit Martinique? Who were the two people for St. David? And who were the two people for St. George Northwest? Who were these people? Are they executive members or former executive members of the National Democratic Congress? Yeah? Are they activists of the National Democratic Congress? Have family members of these people, yeah, inclusive of the chairman, the unnamed chairman. I don't know, you have a committee and you refuse to just name the chairman of the committee, of the selection committee. Yeah? Is it a case where the chairman has people that are in those places? You could try as much as possible to obfuscate the issue and try to push it aside and twist it, turn it. At the end of the day, you're hiding information from the Grenadian people. Yeah? We know it's other information all you want to put out. But I'm telling you that right now, we want this information. You are hiding information. There are literally thousands of people out there who were denied the opportunity to get one of those 647 homes, who would like to know who are the people that denied them that opportunity. And I think it is only fair to allay their minds, to rest their minds, so that they don't think that they were treated unfairly. Yeah? So that they don't believe that they have been treated unfairly, that they know who these individuals that made the selections are. All right? Nice? Good. Just want to make sure that we clear, yeah, we just want to make sure that we clear on these things and them. And we're not gonna go to the phone lines quite yet. I have one or two other things I want to find out. Because let me see, you all could remember, and let me see if I can pull it up here. Yeah, let me see if I can pull this one up here as well. Let me just get this one.
That there is no God, but he's a wise man to rise up every day and thank the Lord. A fool says in his heart that there is no God, but he's a wise man.
Now remember, we had been speaking about the first press conference that was held, when they were speaking about phase 1. There was mention of a report that was done. The minister, in his statements at that point in time, said that a report had been compiled in relation to the non-payment by individuals occupying apartments, houses in phase 1 of the Chinese low-income housing project. A report had been compiled, and that report was not submitted to cabinet, that he and the Prime Minister, in fact, no, don't take my word for it. Let me get that here. And let me get that here. Yeah, so you can hear for yourself what it is that he said at that point in time. Let's hear what he had to say.
I also asked if that report that was done, the technical report, was it presented to the Cabinet of Ministers, and what were their view on it?
That particular report was shared with the Prime Minister. I have not submitted that report. I did not submit it to Cabinet. To be honest, and I'll be frank, I thought the report was so colorful. It was so negative that I figured that I would just share it with the Prime Minister and ask the board to do what they need to do to correct the situation. But suffice it to say, on occasions I've mentioned to Cabinet, on several occasions, the state of affairs of the Housing Authority of Grenada. So I've done that consistently. Portions that I figure that I want to communicate to the Cabinet. Sometimes I believe we have to be careful and we have to exercise wisdom in the way we treat with information. It's not that I'm withholding information deliberately from Cabinet, but the position is that we are given responsibility to do some things.
we know what we have to do, and that is properly communicated. And as a result of that, we want to ensure that this is done properly. Now, I could have simply said to you this morning, yes, because significant information as gathered and collected have been communicated to Cabinet. And when I spoke in Parliament, I made a reference to significant portions of the report. Because this is not the first time I'm talking about rotten railings, molds, and all of these things. But, so in other words, we have communicated the depth of this report to Cabinet. But the actual report itself, as received, have not been delivered to Cabinet in that way. Thank you.
So that was the minister roughly sometime last month speaking about that report. The report was not submitted to Cabinet. And remember, he gave a whole explanation for over 2 minutes of why it was not submitted. He and the Prime Minister had the discussion in relation to that report, and it was not important to bring that report. He thought that there was some sensitive parts to it. So he went into a long discussion there of why that report was not brought to the Cabinet. But this morning, when I was listening to Mr. Telesford, I realized that the story changed. Yeah, I realized that the story has changed now in relation to that report and what has taken place. Yeah, so something ain't too right, Mr. Telesford. Let me hear what you had to say this morning. Remember, you just heard him saying, for 2 minutes, he took the time to explain why that report didn't go, and he could have lied and said it went, but he's saying that it didn't went, etc., etc. So let's hear what he had to say this morning.
And the report, based on the report that was delivered, the findings, was that information, was it laid before the Parliament of the country?
No, the report, that findings was not laid before the Parliament of the country. The report was laid before the Cabinet. It was not a parliamentary commissioned report, and so there was no need for it to be laid before the Parliament unless it is so directed by the Prime Minister or someone, or the Cabinet itself.
So now the report that didn't go to Cabinet, that he and the Prime Minister discussed, all of a sudden now the story has changed to the report was brought to Cabinet and it wasn't brought to Parliament. We understand the difference between Parliament and Cabinet. Yeah, Parliament is Parliament, Cabinet is Cabinet. And to make sure that he was speaking about the right report, to make sure that he was speaking about the right report, because I tell you the story is changing here. You just heard him saying, no, he didn't bring it, and he said, I could have said I bring it, but I'm not going to say that because there are certain aspects of it, etc., etc., etc. So now you're hearing the story has changed in relation to that. So let's hear what he had to say to confirm in our minds that is the same report that you're talking about. Yeah, we want to make sure, Mr. Telesford, it's the same report that you're talking about, that you were talking about before.
Let's go back, Minister, to a prior subject matter we were dealing with as it relates to the reports from the authority, being a statutory body. When I did ask whether or not that report was laid before the Parliament, your response, you did say it was laid before the Cabinet. My question is, though, and ask me, as a statutory body, aren't all statutory bodies entitled and responsible to make reports, yearly reports, to the Parliament?
Oh, you're speaking about the business plan and the audited reports. Those statutory reports have all been laid before the Parliament. Yes, they have all been laid.
So they've all been laid.
All the statutory reports for the Housing Authority of Grenada has been laid before the Parliament.
Well, I was confused, but I did ask you prior. You said no, it was laid before the Cabinet. And
I thought you were asking about the findings on the state of repair of those units.
Okay, because I was really totally confused. You did say that was left up to the judgment of the Prime Minister as to whether or not it should be. But we know for a fact that as a statutory body, they make yearly reports. I was trying to determine why not.
No. All statutory reports relative to the Housing Authority of Grenada has been laid before the Parliament.
So we understand that is the same report that he was referring to when asked that question. Was the report brought to Cabinet? And he said no. Yeah, now the story has changed to yes, it was brought to Cabinet. After we talk about it and we say, listen, he doesn't even trust his other members of Cabinet to present the report to them, the story has changed now. So we need to know which one is the truth. Was the first one the truth or the second one the truth? We want to know. Because we heard you saying one time that no, you didn't, you understand? Yeah, we want to know which one. We want to know which one we should really be believing, because we kind of confused that this, we are how did they put it? We are baffled. We don't know which one to believe at this point in time. Folks, we're going to take some calls right now. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. And we have, I think I forget the envelope. No, we have something in the envelope still, you know. We have things in the envelope still, right? Yeah. 440-7377. For those of you outside of Grenada, you have to dial 1473-440-7377 on WhatsApp. Yeah, but put a plus sign before the one and you'll get through, right? If you don't put that plus sign before the one, it tends to give a little bit of problems. So put a plus sign, 1473-440-7377. Just add the number to your phone so WhatsApp would recognize it and you can call us on the WhatsApp, right? 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That is the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Okay, I've just cleared the line for you all so you all can call, yeah. 440-7377.
No God, but he's a wise man to rise up every day and thank the Lord.
Because I do have one or two other concerns in relation to statements that were made this morning, huh? Because yesterday we were hearing from Mr. Hugh Thomas that they are still waiting to hear back from the financial institutions. Before we heard from Mr. Hugh Thomas that, yes, you're going to get the loans through the financial institutions. Yesterday we heard that two of the credit unions had come back and they said, in fact, let me play it for you instead of saying it. I can play it for you all to hear what was said. Let me just pull that up here. In relation to the financing. Yeah.
That there is no God, but he's a wise man.
Financial institutions is that please cater for persons who are self-employed, in that don't do the loans that they have to pay every month. You could probably change it up to every 3 months, every 4 months, twice a year, because when they get that lump sum, they can come in and pay. So we have asked them, it's up to the financial institution, but we have asked them, just as how NIS has gotten to the point where self-employed people paying NIS could come in and pay in chunks rather than every month. So that is on board. We have had two credit unions coming back to us immediately and saying, hey, you're going to get it under 5%. Probably closely around 4, a little bit under 4%. So they're very close to what I'm talking about here. In the one that is $73,000, if you take it for 30 years, and they're willing to give 30 years, you will only pay at 3%, $308
per month.
Per month.
Okay.
All right? But even at 4%, you'll be able to pay about just around $400 or a little less than that. All right? Per month. So it depends on where you are. If you tell the financial institutions that I could only pay $350, they will decide with the interest rate how many years they could give you for that. It's not so hard. No, the others haven't come back to us yet, and we're waiting for NIS and the other regular banks and so forth to come back. But we know for sure you can get up to 30 years. We know for sure all they're asking you for, like couple of the credit unions, is your job letter. And you, just as how you fill out in the bank, what are your liabilities? In other words, what are your expenses for the month?
Your budget.
Your budget,
Yeah.
right? Some might ask you to join, and others might not ask you to join. They just get it straight off.
Now, we are being confused in relation to this issue, and you could forgive us being confused if the messages that are coming out of the organizations, and I say organizations, because you have some messages that are coming out from the NDC, you have some messages that are coming out from the Housing Authority, and you have some messages that are coming out from the Ministry of Housing. So there are various messages that are coming out, and they're not collating. Yeah? Because while yesterday we're hearing that only 2 of the credit unions have gotten back to them, and they said not 3%, but between 3 and 5, and we're waiting to hear back from the National Insurance Scheme and the commercial banks and so. While we were hearing that yesterday, today we're hearing from the minister something a little slightly, I'm just trying to make sure that I get it here, slightly different in relation to that particular issue. So we're hearing something a little different when it comes to the financial institutions. More like it's a fait accompli, it's already organized, is something that they've discussed, and let's hear what he had to say this morning.
In respect of the right, so this, in respect of these phase 2, the homes or the units are being financed by a third party, by one of the financial institutions. You have the credit unions, the banks, the GDP, the NIS, and so on and so on and so on. We have met with these organizations. We've basically, in principle, agreed on certain conditions on which people would be able to apply for these houses to make it very easy for them.
So again, we're getting the impression as though everything is already organized. And let's go to the phone line. Hello, good night.
Hey, good night, Brother Sheldon.
Hey, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm okay, man.
All right, go right ahead.
Yeah, Brother Sheldon, I remember how the Minister of Housing said that he called the Prime Minister, right? He called the Prime Minister, and they decide what to do. So I remember the person who interviewed him asked him, why was cabinet? And he said that they only give a drip piece about the housing. But the conclusion of that come between he and the Prime Minister. But when you listen now, you see yes, he went into cabinet. So they may lie, he lied, because he's saying one, and and next time he's saying a different thing. Brother Charles, again, when you look again at the situation right now, with the police, I remember during in 2808 with the police force. Hello?
We're listening.
Yeah, the police is solving crime. They have this shoe was a problem. The police didn't have the proper shoe to fight crime. Transportation was a problem again. It was a problem fighting crime. I remember the churches and them will have to give the police shoes to fight the crime. And come back again, Rachel, and look again at the situation again with the police force again. The police band. They have equipment to play music. They have to go and borrow from the school. Where are the Minister of National Security? What are the government doing? Right? If the police are proper item to fight crime, how would they fight crime? You have to make sure the police are properly secured to go and fight crime. They must have transportation, have proper shoes. Right? And Brother Sheldon, again, I want to say it again to the Grenadian people and to this government. The Grenadian people vote you all into office to represent them and represent good. Yes, no one perfect. But what you are seeing of this government, like they're representing themselves and the friend, and they turn it back on the poor class of people. But actually, this is not what people vote for. People vote for betterment. And right now, there is no betterment coming for the poor class of people. And I see this government, when they went to politics to help themselves, not to help people. And so whatever they do in presently, that is the aim and desire why they get into politics. And I do, when they talk about transformation, this is the transformation they're talking about. They feel that the government at the time was doing so good in helping to develop the living condition of the the poor people of Great Caribbean and Martinique. So like if them above there, they find that they didn't get in what they do to them. But whatsoever benefit and whatever benefit that come and to the poor class of people, it would also benefit the business people. Because when poor people have money in their hand, where they go spend it, they don't go away and shop. They spend it in the business place in Grenada. But when they rob from the poor people, it will affect the business place because less revenue will be coming into the hands of the businessman. All right? So, Brother Sheldon, that's my...
All right, great. Thank you. 440-7377. That's a 440-7377. And folks, remember, tomorrow evening from 5 p.m. you have Simon Says. Yeah, make sure you tune in and check out Jenny's program. Right? So it's on tomorrow from 5 p.m. All right? Nice. Beautiful. And I don't think Prince will be on tomorrow evening. He has to do another activity, so I don't think he'll be able to attend to the program tomorrow. So I don't think his program will be on, and I am not sure for Mosquito if he'll be on tomorrow. Good night to you, Jackie Raymond. Yeah, I know it's after 1 in London, but you're up and you're listening to Talking Points. We thank you so very much for joining us. All right, a 440, let me clear the box, 440-7377. Give us a call. Yeah, let's chat on this one before I go on to something else. Yeah.
Rise up every day and thank the Lord. A fool says in his heart that there is no God. But
so we're not sure if they've met with and finalized with the financial institutions because we're hearing from one side. In fact, the first thing we heard in relation to the financial institutions when Mr. Hugh Thomas spoke when they did the initial unveiling of the fact that they were distributing the houses. I think it was last week, Monday or when they did that. The first story we were hearing was that they had already met with the financial institutions. They had asked them to give the loan at the 3%. Up to now, I don't think we've heard of any of the financial institutions that are giving it at 3%. Because remember, you can ask the financial institutions to do that. They could ignore you. They could decide that, hey, we are going at 5%, we are going at 6%, we're going at 7%, we're going at 3.5%, we ain't going at 3%. They could decide whatever they want. It's the same thing like when they reduced the freight costs on the port. And they said to the businesses, well, hey, you all are getting a reduction, pass the savings on to the Grenadian consumer. That didn't happen. Government lost $5 million in revenue at the port. But that $5 million, businesses kept that. They didn't pass that on to the average person out here. Because they could only ask them, they can't order them. They could offer the incentive, but they can't order them that they have to pass it on to the average taxpayer. Yeah? So now we find the situation where they are asking the banks, but they can't order the banks. Again, remember, at least 2 of the banks have to answer to their main offices outside of Grenada. Yeah, while Cooperative Bank is local and Cooperative Bank is locally owned, is the homegrown bank, everything, as we used to call it long ago, the penny bank, that sort of thing, right? But when it comes to the other financial institutions as banks, commercial banks, as in ACB and Republic Bank, yes, they have local management, but they still have to answer to their main offices outside of Grenada. Are they going to allow them to balloon their loan portfolio by a significant margin with something that they, outside there, may consider a risk? We don't know. Let's see what happens. We've got a caller. Hello, good night.
Good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
Sheldon?
Yes, ma'am.
The song you played by Upgrader D, you couldn't have played a better song. Are you confusing me? Sheldon, the minister, look more confused than being confident in himself in what he's saying. Mm-hmm. I mean, looking all the different clips, the man is confused. He's not confident with himself. So you choose the appropriate theme song for this evening. If he's listening, I hope he go back and think about what he said and how he would have answered the question the host priest put to him. Come on.
Because he took 2 minutes plus to explain why he had not taken that information to cabinet.
Exactly, but not only
2 minutes
but
to
each and every
explain it.
question that was asked, he was hesitant in answering. He wondering, should I say this? Should I say that? Or he trying to remember what he would have said before. The man is confused. No, Sheldon. That's the worst. No. That's what we have? God bless them, Sheldon. I'm listening as usual.
All right, by there. 440-7377. That's a 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program, yeah?
To have everything they see, they have lost the ways of their principality.
Just 1 minute away from 9 o'clock. Somebody tell me what took place on the terminal this evening. I'm hearing that the lights went out. Was there a power failure close by or something?
But he's a wise man to rise up every day and thank the Lord. A fool says in his heart that there is no God, but he's a...
And we've got a call online. Good night.
Good night, Sheldon.
Good night,
What's
sir.
saying?
I'm quite fine.
Right. Yeah, well, you see, the problem is with the NEC administration, as I always saying, that first of all, they don't believe in God. Because if they believe in God, they would not take out the old people 150. All right? Secondly, they're lying too much. Why the Minister of Housing couldn't come straight to the point? Because he knows definitely that they're lying. So nobody cannot believe them. And right about now, these people and them to just pack up and go. You understand me? Leave us in this country. Leave us alone. We don't want to hear them because they're lying too much. Thank you.
All right, my brother. All right. It seemed like the dog had a comment to make. And I let the dog come on and make the comment too. Don't the dogs and cats listening to talking points today? Could I let the dog come on and make it point? Yeah, next thing, dogs and them going through real pressure in the place. You know, they can't get as much bone as they used to get. They ain't getting as much scrap as they used to get. Next thing, that's what the dog want to complain about, the high price of dog food. Yeah. 440-7377. That is the number for you to get on to the inside.
Race to destroy the human race, the fulfilling prophecy. But when Jaja come to town, the whole table I got turn. Only a fool says in his heart that there is no God, but he's a wise man to rise up every day.
And you know, one of the things I realize is that they keep trying, because certain individuals are now within their camp, they're trying as much as possible to make it look like individuals were there and they had no power to do anything and so on. Yeah, so they're trying to make it look like, in fact, this particular statement that he made this morning, this particular statement is geared towards that, to try and give the impression that people that ministers under NNP government, you didn't have no power and that kind of thing. And I could tell him straight, he wasn't under NNP government, he don't know. Yeah, he lie. Okay, he don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, nonsense.
Yes, and we've heard stories of how the previous administration conducted a business. It was basically a one-man show. So sometimes you have a minister is just there, just as a figurehead, not necessarily being able to really execute their functions in a proper manner. And sometimes when you look at what has happened, we must sympathize with the ministers, the line ministers for the various ministries, because really and truly they didn't have the authority. Well, they had it legally, but in terms of being able to execute it in a practical sense, they just have to follow the political directorate, who was basically a one-man army, really.
You see the kind of nonsense that has come with, because he's trying to separate the Minister of Housing under the new National Party, who happens to be on their side of the house right now. So if you're saying that how all these things took place in housing, you're actually blaming the former minister for all of that, you know. But what he's trying to do now is say, no, don't blame the former minister. Blame the former prime minister because he was running the Ministry of Housing. Mister, if you don't know what has taken place in an NNP cabinet, ask people who was there, who will be honest with you. People who will be honest, not people who will lie for you. Yeah? Ask people who would be honest and tell you the truth in relation to what happens in a new National Party cabinet. Yeah? I could tell him. Ministers had a free hand. Of course, you report to cabinet and other ministers would have a say in relation to the different projects that you've come up with, and so they may have an insight. Because if you're looking at something you alone, there are lots of other things that you don't see behind, in front, upside down, all things you don't see. So there would be a discussion, so others would add their input and so on. And it has never been a case where any one man come and just impose in will and say, is so, and is so it have to be. Not within the political organization, and definitely not within the cabinet. Yeah? I can speak of several instances where I didn't agree with certain stuff. And they didn't just say, well, yes, let me go with it, that shall learn business. You have to go with it. No. They took the time to try to get you to their perspective. Sometimes I may have made a point and decide, no, well, we're not going to go that direction. Shalan has a point. Let's look at it from that direction. And what I was, a junior, a parliamentary secretary. Yeah? So this kind of nonsense that they're trying to do, trying to shift it out. If you're saying all this kind of thing about government and what the last party did in relation to the housing and all this kind of thing, you know who the minister is. So when you're saying this, it is a reflection of the individual. Don't try and take it off of them now and try to blame the former prime minister for that. We've got a call online. Good night.
Hey, Brother Sheldon. Good evening to you.
Hey, good evening, bro.
Is everything?
Quite fine, actually.
All right. Well, listen to me. These ministers, the honest truth is, I mean, we hate to just be hitting them back and forth like that. But guess what? If the prime minister would have a shuffling of that cabinet, I wonder if he really think, and maybe that's why he cannot have a shuffling of cabinet, because these so-called ministers, they are not competent, right? Whenever they open the mouth, it is only a bunch of lies that they are coming with. They have no authority. And guess what? If you're speaking the truth, that would be authority, right? Nobody could shut you off or so because you're speaking the truth, and people would know when you're speaking the truth. None of these ministers, not one of these 9 ministers of government, whenever they open the mouth, they say anything with sense, anything that is substantial, because all that they're trying to do is to trick people. That's all they're trying to do. The track record, based on what they are saying, you could see how shaky that the records are. They are not real people. I wonder where these people, where these persons that in government used to live before. You know, instead of housing, blaming, shifting the blame on the former administration. The honorable minister, right, in that constituency up there, where that's a part of the NDC now, she knew, right? The minister knows everything pertaining to housing because she was the minister of housing. So why not ask her? Why not let you do a walkthrough to you, minister, right? And so then the information, if she is truthful, will be credible.
But remember,
You know?
the attack on what has happened within that particular ministry is not coming from the New National Party. It's coming from the National Democratic Congress. They are the ones that are basically claiming that was one of the worst run ministries ever. because they're
Right.
saying that you had houses, dilapidated houses. The minister even made a claim that somebody died due to living in one of the houses this morning. He went that far. Yeah? So
Wow.
they are making these claims and so on. And the individual who was the minister in charge of that ministry is sitting amongst them. It's not the New
Yeah.
National Party accusing her of anything. It's not the, in fact, I wonder if some people within the New National Party remember if the individual exists, because
Right.
they are not the ones attacking her. But that particular statement, the last one I played, is an obvious attempt by that minister to play political football and try and sidestep the issue of laying the blame at the feet of the line minister, and instead try to lay the blame at the feet of the former prime minister.
I had to this morning.
But he just come out political school. He ain't get his certificate yet, so I don't know what he's trying there.
I had to counsel with somebody this morning who told me that couple of days ago they drank alcohol and went to drunk themselves, and two ladies saw her and begged her, not to do it. And what is the reason? What is the reason? The reason is because she was down for a house, and when she went to speak to the authority, and they told her what she had to do, it was striking to her. She said that she was going to take her life. This evening, I spoke to another woman who is so frustrated, and she gave up because she went to the financial establishment to sort the loan, and they turn her back. Yeah. So they are not, and she is claiming that she is a avid supporter of the party, of the government, the party. Sorry, and wondering what would be her situation later. So I told her, so as far as I understood, that the authority is going to be locating lands and building some 500 houses. That's what the Prime Minister said. So, and she said, I don't have no faith in that. So if they are knowing what they are creating for them own selves as a party and a government, they better think twice at what they're doing. They need to recant these policies that they are coming up with. They need to change that and understand that the houses was given to Grenada, the government of Grenada, as a grant from the China's Republic of China. They need to understand that, and you don't sell gifts. If somebody gives you something, you don't take it and sell it. The former administration would never done something like that. For all that money, 72,000 dollars.
But remember, they've got Project 500 coming, and they have to find the funding, the baseline funding to start that project. So remember, their stated intention is to have all 600 and, well, not the full 647, because you're going to keep back some for people in case of fire, domestic abuse, and that sort of thing. But that these apartments will be occupied by December. And it's a nice thing to say, wanted by December. People come into the new year in their new apartment, their new home. They spend their first Christmas in their new home, that kind of thing. So I can understand that. But it is what they have to go through to get to that end product. And again, they keep making the statement like, I have not made the statement here that the apartment should be given free, but that they should look at the old formula that was being used. If they have to tweak it, tweak it. But to put people through this thing. So from what they have said, if a person, you're telling a person they've got to come with $73,000. If a person comes with half of that and says, I can pay half now and I'll pay the other half over the next 5 years, they have no interest in taking that. That's what they said. You have to come with the money up front.
Oh, yeah, I'm hearing that, but I didn't hear that from them. So you're sure about that?
You cannot pay in tranches. You have to come with the money, the full money up front. There's no payment plan with the Housing Authority of Grenada anymore. You pay for your house and you get your funding elsewhere.
Wow.
Yeah, you could get get your loan from the bank or the credit union or wherever, but you cannot go to them and say, I will pay you for this house, some next month and some the following month, or every 6 months I'll give you this amount and that kind of thing. They have said they spoke to the financial institutions and you would have to go to them. Yeah, but when you come to them, you're coming with your full money.
Well, we in for a serious rock, eh?
Of course.
We in for a serious. Anyway, brother, you take care, man, and let's just keep pressing the claims. These people need to wake up. They need to know what time it is. It's really late, really, really late. Mm-hmm. And they are damaging their own political career and characters.
All right, my brother. Thank you so very much.
Good.
All right.
Yeah, good night. Yeah.
4407377. That's 4407377. Why am I moving that? 4407377. That's the number for you to call and get on to tonight's program. And yes, I do have something in the envelope I had to open up in a little while. But yeah, I was even surprised to hear this one because it was challenged by the let me just take this call before I get to that one. Hello, good night.
Hey, good night, Sheldon.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
Just quiet, Sheldon.
All right, man. I want to know if they went to cabinet or they didn't go to cabinet with the thing. I want to know because I'm hearing two stories. I want to know which one is the truth.
Sheldon, when I heard that the minister was trying to bring across that kind of narrative that ministers didn't have individual say and everything was just done by one man. My mind goes right back to, the same minister of housing. And I could remember, without saying too much, Sheldon, that I was in a meeting with a PS at that time. And the PS said, look, I have a cabinet decision in front of me here for this. And that very said minister, when that decision supposed to execute, said, no, she not going with it. And it was sort of, so if ministers didn't have individual power, that minister, that very said minister, I know had individual power. Because she could have made decisions. And the PS said to me, look, this is cabinet decision, but the minister said, no, she's not going with it. And let's leave it right there. So when I hear you saying that, I wonder where you get that from? He get that from, according to the Africans, it seems like he get that from a madman. Thank you, Sheldon.
All right, bye, brother. But again, you have to understand where that's coming from. That's taking the political angle of attack Dr. Mitchell again. So here you are, you're saying all sorts of nasty things about the Ministry of Housing. Yet still, the person who was the immediate past Minister of Housing under the last administration, where you're saying the policies were not correct, where you're saying the administration was not correct, where you're saying the management was not correct, where you're making all the sorts of nasty statements about, that individual isn't sitting on the NNP side. That individual is sitting on their side. So, to deflect the blame off of that individual and try to put it onto the new National Party side, they're trying to make it look like you just had a cabinet or you had a party run by just one man. Yeah? Nonsense. Absolute unequivocal. This gentleman does not know what he's talking about. No idea. Yeah? And whoever tell him that, either they don't know or they're lying. There's only two options. There's no third in this one. They don't know or they're lying. Yeah? It does not have a third option that could address this particular statement that he has made there. The person who told him that either does not know or that individual is lying. Because those of us who know that is total absolute nonsense. Yeah, I could go into details in relation to certain things. I just won't do it. Yeah, but I can go into details in relation to certain things. And in situations like that, that is why you can hear statements like this one being made this morning. And it was challenged by the host of the program on GBN this morning.
Right. The story is told of a lady who died because of ingesting fungus. I hope that is not true. The story is told of people getting shocks in their homes by touching the switch or even touching the wall. The story is told of feces backing up into the sink.
Is that just independent stories, geared at malicious, or have they been substantiated?
Well, many people in Mungay said that give us that story.
I guess
Many.
I guess they say 10,000 Frenchmen cannot be wrong. Well,
they cannot be wrong.
But I mean, well, let me ask you though, Minister, because central to all of this, and I understand the argument that's been put forward for the Housing Authority, they have to be a financially viable organization, and I understand that thoroughly. However, notwithstanding that, you would certainly be able to appreciate that as a government, and as a minister, and as a government, that we do have a responsibility to the indigent persons, understanding that we live in trying times. What can be done? What plans have been made to get to that?
To address that? Shortly, because what we're doing here is not ignoring the indigent. We're helping people to be more responsible. We are creating a fund so that we can continue to maintain these units also. And that is why I'm speaking about the maintenance of these units. Because we cannot afford for people to be living in these conditions. By rights, if the Ministry of Health and the Physical Planning Authority is actually operating under the law, these units should be shut down. No, seriously. They should be shut down because people ought not to be made to be living in these conditions.
So we heard from the minister there, as far as he's concerned, the situation in phase 1 is so bad that the buildings should actually, the Ministry of Health, so maybe he need to speak to LACO, the Ministry of Health should move in and shut down the buildings, not solve the problem and not try to fix whatever problem he's saying is there, because he's saying this. Remember, this is the line minister that's saying a person died in their apartment because they ingest something and so on. And when challenged, when asked, is that just rumors, people just saying that also? He just sidestepped the question, you know. He sidestepped the question when being asked that question. We have a call online. Good night. Hello, good night.
Hello, good night.
Hi, good night, caller. You're live. Go right ahead.
Yes, sir. Well, just 1 second. Yeah, my question is this to you, right? No, you have a home or you have a motor car or anything of that nature, okay?
Mm-hmm.
By using that car or the home, okay, after a period of time, even if the car is a brand new car, you will need to put tires, you will need to put gas, you will need to do certain things, okay?
Mm-hmm.
By using it, there's always a wear and tear. Not so?
Yeah, you always have to.
Okay, right. So after a period of time,
filter,
you have
everything.
to make certain changes, isn't that?
Yeah, cooler, filter, and spark plugs. Yeah, everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
so it will need an
Brakes, this,
overall maintenance after a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how old the houses are, may I ask?
If I remember correctly, those were being built back in the mid 2000s, that 2008, 2009. I can't remember the exact age.
Let me say 10 years. 10 years.
No, they're older than 10 years by far.
Okay, let me say 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't know the people who are living inside here, how they use this stuff. Okay, you have kids, they might use it wrong. Okay, so I mean, you coming out and making accusation of certain things. Okay, we respect it, but what about the people who are actually using it? Now, if you using your house and you are paying for the house, it is your responsibility to fix what you damage, because you're paying for it. It is your home. I mean, I could be subject to correction.
What I would say in this situation is that they do have a contract. There are some things that government has to do, and there's some things that they have to do. But remember, you're also speaking of a situation where, as he claims, 80% of the people have not been paying. Yeah? So you have to take all those things into consideration, but it does not mean that, you know, with all of this, remember who was the line minister? So if he's claiming somebody died under that person's ministry because there was breathing in some mold or whatever it is, and that you have all kind of thing coming up in the sink and these kind of things. Remember who was the line minister? This, and again, this is not the New National Party attacking her. The New National Party, I can't remember the person's name because we doesn't attack the individual, we doesn't bother.
No,
This
I
is
mean,
the NDC that is attacking the individual, and they still sit down nice and kumuse in the middle of them, you know.
my contribution is I want to make it firm and strong in the sense that once you stay within the outskirts of the building, let me say, government will have some form of rules and by regulations that you will have to contribute towards it because it's a massive unit that they will have to help maintain from the outskirts of the building. But once you are staying inside of the building, where you actually stay in your room, things must happen. Things may, I don't know what kind of cases. Sometimes some people have kids that is very playful. They might damage the doors, maybe the windows, maybe the pipes in the house. So you would want to claim the government, or even if you get a loan from a institution, you will go report that to the institution? No. Which bank will give you a loan and then still come back and fix the damages in the house? So if you go and get a loan for that house, for example, okay? But while you pay in the bank and damages occur in the house, in this case now let me say you want to blame it on the government. Who will you blame then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who will you blame then? I always say, I'm not perfect. Okay, I'm not a perfect person. So, at the end of the day, before we blame somebody, look at ourselves. Don't use it as a blame scam to others. Okay, let's respect everybody and let's speak the truth. And while we're saying whatever we have to say it in the manner somebody could learn something from us, and we could learn something from somebody. Yeah? At the end of the day, everybody has to set an example. Yeah? The people who are leading, they are in the front line. So once you're in the front line, you have to lead with example. We just don't play blame games, and it doesn't make it, because with these things, I don't think so you're getting anywhere. If there's a problem, bring the problem and bring solution to the problem and fix the problem, and let's move forward. That is how I look at it. It doesn't make sense that you come with a problem and you don't offer a solution. There is no need to talk then. Yeah?
Of course.
You understand? Let's help people. There are some people maybe they cannot think on their own, but all the time of your life you cannot be just relying on somebody thinking on your behalf. But if we could help people get out of this kind of narrow mentality, yeah. And if people on the front line making this narrow-minded statement, it is very bad for the future to come. That is how I look at things. I mean, again, it is not, I don't want to say anything to hurt anybody. It is over all respect. But we should leave something good behind that people could see, and not to praise us, but somebody else could look at our good and go forward in life. Yeah? Have a blessed night.
All right. Thank you so very much, my brother.
Yeah, man.
440-7377. That's a 440-7377. That is the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. Yeah, I think we have roughly about 34 minutes remaining on tonight's program. So you've got the opportunity to give us a call right about now. All right? Yeah, I just checking something there. Yeah. Every now and again, I just had to check thing, make sure everything working proper and so on. Yeah, because, as I told you all, we still have other stuff in the envelope here, Yeah, we still have other stuff in the envelope here. You understand? I wonder if I have a song for this person now. Yeah, let me see if I have a song for this person here, boy. Yeah, you see, they carry a particular name. Well, let's take this call first. Hello, good night.
Hey, Sheldon.
Yes, sir.
I have a question to ask.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And it is very important towards the phase one. Who was supervising the building of phase one?
Phase one was built during the reign of the NDC. I actually have video footage of that. Yeah.
And Sheldon, I can tell you, it was poorly supervised. The people in Monrush, yes, did occur some problems up there, but that problem occurred because the government at the time, who was supposed to supervise the building of this project, did not supervise. The place was poorly supervised. And that problem, the problems that occurred there, occurred because of, during the building stage, the government at the time fail to have proper supervision of the building. Thank you, Sheldon.
All right, my brother. All right, yeah. I have a song for somebody there. Let me see if I can play this one.
Philip, my dear, last night I thought was you in here. Where did you go? Working for good old England, missing out all the action.
Well, we have a call online before I get to that one. Eh?
Hi, good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
Yes. What the minister said that somebody died in one of the housing project, they get shocked. Sheldon, knowing Grenadians, a person gets shocked in one of them housing scheme. Right? I think the whole of Grenada are going to know that. We haven't heard anything on the news, neither on GBN, neither MTV, neither on Shaggy, anything. So the minister lie.
Well, I am not living in the housing project, and the only person to say that the minister lie are the people that living in the housing project. You might have
but
people...
we hear them nowhere, Sheldon.
No,
we don't hear nowhere, nothing on news. We don't hear nothing nowhere. The minister, we hear say that.
Hold on. Let's hear from the people in the housing project. You never know. So maybe some of them get shocked and they didn't say anything. You never, I don't know.
Grenadians,
so
somebody must talk.
Let me hear, no, I am not going to say that. I'm going to say, let me hear from them. Yeah, they said somebody, he's claiming that somebody died due to the state
you
of
don't
the
know
house.
how to believe in them. You don't know how to believe these people and them.
No, I don't believe anything they say. I don't believe anything they say, but I'm just saying, I would like to hear from the people there.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right, my dear.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, Philip, my dear. No, not you, Philip. Yeah, Philip. Tell us what. Not you. Yeah. Yeah. This Philip. Yeah.
In Buckingham.
We'll come back to that just now. Yeah. Let's take this phone call. Hello. Good night.
Sheldon, good night.
Good night.
How are you doing?
I'm quite fine, actually.
Yeah, I just want to make a contribution on this housing issue.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah. Like I always say, Gary built houses for the middle class. He never asked them to go to the bank and get any mortgage. Maurice Bishop built houses which he gave out. He never asked anybody to go to any bank and get any mortgage. Dr. Mitchell did it. He never asked anybody to go to the bank and get mortgage. Now today, they are asking people, the NEC government is asking people to go to the bank and get mortgage. A government that loves or likes poor people would not do that, right? I think this is way beyond and putting it out of the reach of the poor and the vulnerable people. I think they need to do better. I believe that good sense will prevail and they will change their mind about this mortgage thing. That's my contribution. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. Yeah, and I think I'll go hold on the calls for a little while. Yeah, I'll hold on them, call on them for a little while. Because I think we want to go over this contract. And Mr. Philip, my dear, last night they thought was you in here. Where did you go? Working for a good old Grenada. Mm-hmm. So this agreement is made the 21st day of August in the year 2023 between the government of Grenada, represented by the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Fisheries and Cooperatives. All them advisor, like all they passing, all them advisor through agriculture. Anyway, yeah. Or is it that the leadership within that ministry is so weak that you need to have a lot of advisors? I thought that was the person that had all the solutions for agriculture in Grenada. But anyway, Yeah, so the government of one part and Mr. Philip R. Alexander, I'll check who that person is. Hearing called the contractor on the other part, collectively the parties, whereas the government of Grenada has determined that there is a need to procure certain services for its proper functioning. And whereas it has been further represented by the contractor that he's an individual who has the qualifications and ability to deliver the required services. Right? So subject to the terms and conditions of this agreement, the government shall engage the contractor to provide the services set out in the terms of reference. And we're going to go to that later on. Right? Term of engagement. The engagement of the contractor shall commence, they put it retroactively, so from April 17, 2023 for a period of 2 years and may be determined in accordance with Clause 7. Fees. They're going to be paid $79,200 a year. That works out to roughly about $6,600 per month, right? So I don't know if they're carrying out any other work. I know they're on the board of directors of the National Water and Sewage. Don't cut off my water, eh? Nice, right? National Water and Sewage Authority. Next thing I don't get in water because I go and call him my name and all. Okay? Next thing I have to wait until the rain fall and no water for me. Right? Yeah, don't worry now, man. I'm fully paid up. Right? Yeah, so $79,200 a year to be paid at the end of every month for services rendered during the previous month. So that works out to roughly 6,000 something on a monthly basis. So another advisor again. And I don't know why is the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands, Fisheries and Cooperatives, all them advisors and them ending up under. Was not this one a former candidate on behalf of the National Democratic Congress, or attempted to be a candidate again on behalf of the National Democratic Congress? Is this person still an executive member of the National Democratic Congress as invitee or whatever? So all you had the boyfriend of a minister, that one getting a little over 5,000, right? So that one getting over 5,000, and they have a substantive job outside of that, and they're on board and so on, right? Yeah, the board of the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority, which is under the girlfriend, right? So that they're on that too, right? And we hear the jumping plane like bus these days going with the girlfriend when they go in place, all kind of thing. We hear that, right? I even hearing something about me. I will leave that one for Jenny. I don't have that information about that 40. Nah, I don't hear nothing about. I leaving that for Jenny. I don't hear about that, right? Nice. So we had another one who was also an executive member of the National Democratic Congress. And that one getting a little 5,000, getting a little 1,000 less than this one. So you get about a 5,500 a month. Right. And he's specifically in relation to poultry. And now we have yet another one here. And this one is getting roughly about 6,600 per month. So just realize that what they're doing is that all of their executive people and so, people who are or were recently on the executive of the NDC, they are finding advisory positions for these people, across different ministries and so on. Yeah? So they're finding different things for these people to do. All right? No, I tell all you, it are files in the envelope. They just drop an envelope. So I'm asking again, in the same way that I did on Monday, same way I did on Tuesday, I'm going to ask today, is there any truth to the document that I am now putting forward as having found in the road? Is there any truth to this document? Yeah? Let me see here again. This contractor also had to pay their own NIS. Even though the Prime Minister said, as such, the contractor is fully and personally responsible for all duties and obligations of workers pursuant to the National Insurance Act as amended. So this individual will also have to pay their own NIS and them kind of thing. You see all the different, so that nice. You have to check with the permanent secretary and them thing there. Nice. You see, they give them a serious ironclad 2-year contract there, man. Yeah, if the government go before 2 years, they still have an ironclad contract, Yeah, so I don't know. Are those the signatures of the correct people? Is that signature Mr. Philip Alexander? I don't know who's this person that was in the presence of and so on. Right, and that is a stamp from the permanent secretary ministry, I think, and I ain't nothing against them permanent secretary. They're doing their work. That is what I tell them do. They're doing it. Nobody better have any hate in their heart or upset with any permanent secretary. The people doing their work. That is what they tell them do. They're doing it. All right, so don't vex with them. Nice. Although I hear certain permanent secretary out of MIT, another ministry, all kind of thing taking place All kind of thing are here taking place within those ministries and thing. Yeah, so don't worry, man. We have more stuff in the envelope, but we ain't talking about them tonight. Don't we have until the rest of the year, man. We could roll them out. We have a few more, Yeah, that's not the end of it. No, definitely that is not the end of it. Yeah? So they were asked politely last year to provide a list of all the transition leads, people who held portfolios as transition leads, and then people that now hold portfolio as advisors, and they have refused to give those bits and pieces of information. So we will have to ask if the information that we are seeing is truthful and correct. It's not a forgery, that kind of thing. We want to make sure, that we're on the safe side. So you're asking, because, a lot of the NDC supporters out there who get up 2 and 3 o'clock on election morning, and some of them couldn't sleep, to make sure that they go and they bring home the victory to the National Democratic Congress. Well, after they bring home, they went home and they still home, right? Meanwhile, you have other people who getting their big job and thing, and it's not people that really, really need like some of the others. Yeah, but you hear they're getting, they look at 6,000 plus and they look at 5,000 plus per month and that kind of thing. Yeah, nice. So just making sure we're asking the questions, because we know that the government has not been forthcoming with these informations and these documents and so on. So we're asking the questions. Are the documents that people keep dropping in the road and all kind of thing, and nearly bust me toe because sandals are white, nearly bust me toe, I'm trying to, avoid, what is this thing? Then you see the envelope and thing. We want to know if what we have asked about is truthful. Yeah, we just want to know. We don't want to be here putting out the documents and next thing the documents false. No. So we want to ask, is Mr. Philip Alexander, retained as an advisor within the Ministry of Agriculture? Yeah? Is he retained as an advisor within that ministry? Right? Was there an absolute necessity? Right? Because he's going to be doing it land management and administration. Was there an absolute necessity to have him within that department, and considering that he's dealing with land management and administration? You understand? We want to know, was there an absolute necessity to have him within the ministry? We want to know. Yeah? So, folks, we're going to reopen the phone lines 440-7377 because we just have, roughly about 20 minutes remaining on tonight's program. 440-7377. Remember, you can also call us via WhatsApp. I don't think... Wait, now, I wonder if the WhatsApp is working. I haven't checked it for the night, Yeah, so, folks, you can call us on WhatsApp. 440-7377 if you're in Grenada. And then, remember, if you're outside of Grenada, the overseas line has been giving problems. But you can call us on 1473-440-7377. Just put the plus sign before the 1, and you would be able to get us on WhatsApp as well. So you want to know, we want to know,
Philip, my dear, last night I thought was you in here. Where did you go? Working for good old England, missing out all the action. My dear, do you know?
All I would say is that next time, all you put them thing in the envelope, make sure you put the envelope in a plastic bag, because this thing nearly wet and all kind of thing. Put it in a plastic bag when all you put in them envelope and them. Nice. Yes, indeed. 440-7377, and we've got a call online. Good night.
Hello, good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
But Philip Alexander is chairman or something of NAWASA?
I do believe so. I'm not sure if he was shuffled out in the last change that took place to the board of directors of NAWASA. I think he still holds that position, though.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if he holds any other positions outside of this, but we've seen one situation, at least where a person has a substantive job and is still given an advisory position for over $5,000. So I don't know if the same exists with Mr. Alexander. I don't know. That's why we're asking questions here.
Well, yes, that is why I have a problem with the public life. You call them what? Integrity in public life. People. No, we have to get to these people down enough. If they can't do it, if they choose not to do it, I have a way to do it to show them how to do it, I know you don't like to hear me say that, but that is the reality.
Of course.
Hello?
I just like to be careful with the language used, because I know that sometimes when there's a cockroach in the fowl yard, you have to edge the corners so that you don't get bite.
Cockroach and hen roach is the same roach, They're laughing, Cockroach and hen roach is the same roach.
Yeah.
So whether in the yard, and they could fly, so they fly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and to do with these houses, I want to know if the Chinese government now come and put a figure, a value on their houses, how would the government feel? Because they put in value, they're selling for 55,000 and it worth 140,000. Where is this thing coming from? You listen to fellas like Telesford and them. And Telesford have an issue with, what they call them? A riser. That is what they have to fix before they come and talk garbage to rustic like me. Have a good night, Mr. Scott.
All right, my brother. Yeah, I don't know if they have thing with a riser. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. It's a question. You did ask a question. I don't know. Yes, and I did see the list that was sent out last year with various advisors. But that list is woefully short. The list that was sent to Parliament, the question was the list of people who carry the role of, you asked first of all, the former Prime Minister asked for a list of the people who were transition leads. Remember, they had these people they were calling transition leads. I think each of them was getting either somewhere between $4,000 and $6,000 a month. So you had those. Then, in addition to those, you were asked about the other people. Because I'm seeing on this list here that was sent out last year, December, right? Advisors and or transition leads and associated support staff. And they have Miss Deborah St. Bernard, right? You have Ann Peters, who is supposed to be either a transition lead or an advisor to the government right now. You have Mr. Willan Thompson, the man that's making a mess of the Royal Grenada Police Force and that kind of thing there. Miss Faith Thompson is supposed to be an advisor now. Miss Franca Alexis Bernardine is supposed to be an advisor or was a transition lead. We don't know because they did not clarify which is which. They didn't come out and say these people were transition leads and are no longer engaged, but these people are advisors at this point in time, right? So the list included Mr. Hugh Thomas, the same person on the Housing Authority thing there. Yes, it included him. Larry Barry, yeah, he's also included on that list. Miss Gemma Bain Thomas, her name is included on that list. Orlando Romain, who is an advisor, is also he was a transition lead, is an advisor, and now is also an ambassador, isn't it? Yeah, he carries about 3 or 4 portfolios. I think he's chairman in relation to tourism or something as well on that board. Yeah, so he's also on that as well, right? You have Miss Sally Ann Logie, you have Andrea St. Bernard, yeah, the lady with the company doing CBI, yeah. So she's also an advisor, and she's also the treasurer of the NDC. She is also an ambassador on behalf of Grenada, supposed to be out there bringing in funding for, I don't know if she's bringing in funding for Grenada or the NDC, right? Or for herself. I don't know. But that is what she's supposed to be doing out there. I would love, during the budget debate, to have an update in relation to her activities and what she has been able to secure for the people of Grenada. Yeah, the people, when I say the people of Grenada, I don't mean one specific segment as in the National Democratic Congress. as in getting funding for them and so on. No, I'm talking about the nation, Grenada, the state of Grenada, right? You have Joyce Thomas Peters, Stephen Fletcher, Patrick Simmons, and Richard Duncan. All right? Some of them may be advisors because they just gave you a list and they mix up everything into one. They didn't even tell you where these people are placed, nor their salaries, nor any other things that they may get. They may get telecommunications, they may get traveling, different things like that. They did not tell you any of that. All they do, they just give a list of names and say these people. Yeah? To confuse the entire thing. So it is not like they were trying to present that information in a reasonable form and format. Yeah, you don't worry, friend. I have all those documents that you're sending there. I have been over those documents on this program before. 440-7377. We're into the final 12 minutes. 440-7377. That is the number for you to call and get on to tonight's program. Yes, indeed.
They better come down. They better come down. They better.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what kind of minister come out and spread anyway. Yeah, well, we understand the kind of ministers we're dealing with.
They better come down. They better come down. They better come down.
Well, you've got various ministers who've gone to Korea. Yeah, Korea, nice. That's nice. They've gone to Korea. I wonder if they've gone to North or South Korea.
To find themselves in isolation. They're walking in this.
You know, I've seen a post by the Minister of Implementation and Transformation trying to allege that we're spending $30,000 a month to do programs. He had to be crazy, huh? Listen, Papa, if you want to lie, lie on something else. Don't lie on that particular one, eh? Because number one, we're not on any radio stations outside of Real FM on a Mondays and a Tuesdays. We're on Real FM, yeah? And we don't pay for that. But we're on Real FM on Mondays and a Tuesdays. Yeah, we're not on any other radio station outside of Noise Radio in Brooklyn. And he can tell you, he's never, not even a cent from the New National Party. Yeah? So when they come with these kind of things, I mean, if you're trying to get rid of the program, we know all you want to get rid of the program, we know all you want to get rid of the host. We know that. Yeah? But, I mean, at least be truthful in relation to the statements all you're making now, man. Oh, gosh, man. Seriously.
So uncomely. They're treating you with scorn. They forget that you are a friend. Yeah.
Well, you said the Prime Minister gone again. He gone to Florida. This I say, I'm not sure if it means that he's gone now or if that is coming up. Yeah, it may be that activity is coming up. I am not sure that the activity already took place or is taking place and that he's gone, yeah?
They live in to receive, they wouldn't give a poor dog a bone. Yeah. They live in to receive, they wouldn't give a poor dog a bone. They better come down. They better
440-7377.
They better come down. They better come down.
Yeah, so somebody messaged me, they told me that part of the situation on the terminal, a lot of them had to come outside of the terminal and take the bus. So I don't know if it was a technical problem or whatever happened or so on, but they need to let people know, you know. So I was asking, who's the advisor for poultry? That's Mr. Gavin Pierre, isn't it? Yeah, for poultry development and that sort of thing. It just so happens that, no, they can't find anybody who is non-political or political, but on the NNP side to give this technical advice and things. So it could only be people who was either on the NDC executive, were former candidates or ministers under the old NDC, that kind of thing. That's the only people. They can't find the young folks. They can't find any of these people to give the opportunity. All they can find, yeah, it's... Oh, that's interesting, my historian friend. Yeah. So they can't find... Oh, no, yes, is that the case? All right, yes. So, yes, somebody was just asking me a question there again in relation to that. They can only find people that are within the NDC to give these positions. And remember, they spoke a lot about young people and engaging young people that have come back from overseas, or they've been enticing some people to come back from overseas and so on. What you see is a situation where you have all of these people now who are waiting on jobs. Meanwhile, you have numerous people within the NDC carrying out 2 and 3 jobs, and other people who are qualified as well are waiting. Yeah? They have other people who are qualified and waiting. So when you hear people, like you hear Ashida, start talking, understand where she ain't begging them for nothing, but she's just speaking facts because this young lady has a master's degree. But yet still you're giving one person 2 and 3 jobs, but they could not find it within their heart to provide an opportunity for her. And I'm not speaking on her behalf, I'm just saying it as it is. Yeah? Young lady has a master's degree. But other people who might only have a bachelor's degree, and so they're making sure some of them don't even have no degree. Yeah? They cold. They are no temperature. Well, they degree in the negative. Right? So they are taking those people and they're getting them 2 and 3 jobs. 2 and 3. Each one sometime paying over 5,000. So it have people now who you may pretty well find are going home with over $10,000 and $15,000 a month that have been brought in by this administration. Yeah? For instance, if we ask about Miss Andrea St. Bernard, she's an advisor within, I think it was the Prime Minister's office, but she's an advisor. Is that advisory position a paid position? Then she was made a special envoy, basically an ambassador. Is that a second paid position, or is she doing that one pro bono? Yeah, is it a second paid position, or is it being done pro bono? Right? And if it is a paid position, how much does each position pay? Because we're seeing some things passing here, 6,000, 5,000, that kind of thing. Right? That's basically a junior minister's salary under the last administration, 6,000 something. You're talking about a junior minister's salary? Yeah? So if that's the kind of salaries that they're giving to their friends and their close hangers-on and lackeys, that they're giving these positions and so on. Remember, these are the same people that had a problem with Emlyn Pear's husband being a senior police officer. Even the same individual who is sitting amongst them, they had a problem when he received rank. They say all kind of thing when he received his rank. Yeah? They had a problem when you had Honorable Peter David's daughter, qualified, got a job under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Problems. They had all kind of this and the wicked and the this and the that and all sorts of nonsense. That's what these people got on with. But now you see they're doing worse. So now you're hearing the Prime Minister have relatives working. Is it the Ministry of Finance or the Ministry of Works? That some sister or something, and hearing an allegation or some sister or something working within what ministry and all kind of thing like that now? Had that been Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, you'd have seen them with placards stand up in front of the financial complex. You'd have seen them blocking the tunnel and saying, "Don't pass here, wickedness." You'd have seen them going and beating drum, walking up and down tongue. But because it's happening under the NDC, a lot of people used to talk a lot before. I don't know if they lose the key for their mouth. Yeah, I know if they lose the key for their mouth. Because a lot of people that used to have a lot to say before, they have nothing to say now. Yeah? And someone is saying, remind the listeners, that's why they're asking for a bigger cap on the wage bill from 9% to 13% because they're going to increase the salaries of all these people. Remember that, eh? And remember, they still have that plan where they're planning to add a constituency allowance to each of the MPs to give them a couple thousands of dollars a month that they can utilize with. If you want to do that, just go the direction of local government. Go the direction of, they ain't talking local government. Yeah, go the direction of local government. Well, we know you're incompetent, you can't do it, but at least talk that instead of just saying you want to put money, because that is basically what they would be doing. If they take that money and put it on a constituency basis, they're basically creating local government. Yeah? But do it in the proper way. Speak to Dr. Francis Alexis and see how you could get the thing done. Right? If that is your intention. Right? So when they're speaking about these salaries and things, and when they're talking about changing the Public Finance Management Act, and I have some stuff to tell you all in relation to that, because it's going to Parliament next week, Tuesday. Yeah? There are some bills going to Parliament next week, Tuesday, and we had to discuss them. I don't think I'll do it tomorrow, probably on Monday. Yeah? Or maybe tomorrow, I don't know. But we've got to discuss those things. Because, remember, government is restricted in the amount it can spend on the wage bill according to how much money government is making and that sort of thing. So there's a restriction on how much they can increase the wage bill by. They're asking to move that from 9% up to 13%. So increase the amount of money that they can spend to accommodate all these lackeys, hangers-on, and brown-nosers that they have been hiring as advisors. Yeah? Meanwhile, the rank and file NDC out there still waiting for their job. Those are you that was team captains on election day. All you get all your work? All you get all your house? No, they forget all you. They go on to their friends, their family. They're making sure that their family hook up proper. And they're putting them in the public service. And then when they put them in the public service, they want to put them in a way and lock them inside there. Because they don't want nobody come and move them. Yeah? But they're making sure and do that for their close friends and family. Look at the names that we've been calling here and the contracts that you've been seeing. These are not people that was on the fringes. These are their friends. Some of them go to school with some of these people. I could call certain names. Some of them go to school with some of these people. That's their lineman partner. Now you see them appear as advisor. Big salary on a monthly basis. Can they do the job? Some of them are hearing this advisor, but you don't even see them in the ministry from what is being said. You don't even see them. Yeah? But them is big advisor. Folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. And whatever you say and do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. I am Sheldon Scott. I am out of here. It is 10 o'clock on the Spice Isle of Grenada. Love each and every one of you. As I said, we have several things we have to discuss tomorrow night. Yes, so we're going to get into that tomorrow night.
They better run away. I see evil forces ganging up to conquer I. How they set up intelligence, informers and then big spies. Obstacle traps they set in my way to distract and to lead me astray, but I will never yield to the things that are wrong. I keep holding on, run away. They better run, they better run away, they better run away. They better run, they better run away, they better run away. So I say, they better run away. They better run away. They better run. They better run away. They will never, never conquer I. They are so desperate. Never, never weaken I. So now they seek to isolate. Never, never conquer I. Oh yeah, for my faith in Jah, blessings and guidance is my shield. Oh Jah, they better